the Georgia State Board of Elections did yesterday.
Mark Elias, I want to read what you wrote, but I just, for Trump, who's so obsessed with the size of his wins and, you know, wearing a superhero shirt when he survives COVID, it feels like this massive sort of telegraphing that he knows he's going to lose. Just talk about the tactic and what it telegraphs.
Yeah, look, Donald Trump lost the popular vote in 2016 by 3 million votes. You know, every time someone would say, Donald Trump won in 2016 and this is because of the American people. No, he won in 2016 because of the Electoral College. In 2020, he lost the popular vote by 7 million votes. Okay, he and the Republicans are running out of runway. They are running out of way to count on the Electoral College and a bunch of other structural advantages that they have to counteract the fact that more Americans want to vote for Kamala Harris than want to vote for him. So what they are left with is two things. Number one, making it harder to vote, making voter suppression, which you and I have talked about. And then the second, which you and I, frankly, have been talking about for years now, it feels shorter, but it's been for years, is they want to be able to cheat after the election. So they want to make it harder to vote and easier to cheat. And the way they are going to cheat, the way they tried to cheat in 2020, when I litigated against them and beat Donald Trump and his allies 60 times in court, the way they tried to cheat is through what ballots get counted and what ballots don't get counted. And there's no better way to do that than through the certification process, which, as Nick pointed out, they tried to do in 2020 in Wayne County, Michigan. In 2022, they tried it again. They tried it in Arizona. My law firm, we sued Cochise County because Cochise County wouldn't certify the election results. We sued Luzerne County, Pennsylvania, because they wouldn't certify the election results. And ultimately, we were able to win those lawsuits because this is a ministerial act. This is a ceremonial function. This is not a opportunity for these people to conduct their own independent investigations. And what it says about Donald Trump is that he knows he's going to lose the popular vote. He knows he's probably going to lose the election if it is free and fair. But he doesn't care. He revels in the fact that he is an authoritarian. He admires the dictators, and he is willing to do. And he has built a campaign and a party that is willing to literally do anything. If they were willing to storm the Capitol to prevent certification on January 6th, what do you think they would do in a county in Georgia?
What is the protection against that, Mark?
So I think it's a few things. First of all, it is the great work that Nick and you and others in the media do who call attention to this. It's one of the reasons why I started Democracy Docket. It's why we've written on this topic, because it is important for people to know this is going on, because for some of these elected officials or appointed officials, they have to live in these communities. They have to look at their neighbors, and it is harder for them to do that if what they are doing is public rather than in the darkness of night. The second thing is that there's a big obligation here for the legal establishment. You know, lawyers like me, lawyers like many other, like at Protect Democracy, you know, have a big obligation here. Every lawyer who swears an oath to the law and the Constitution has an obligation to fight against this kind of activity. And then finally, you know, we talk a lot about the fact that Republicans run Georgia, and periodically they get praise that sometimes I don't agree with. But where's Brad Raffensperger? Where's Brian Kemp? How about they bring a lawsuit? How about Brian Kemp brings a lawsuit and Secretary of State brings a lawsuit to prevent this from happening? Where are they?